Wait, you're probably wondering what I'm doing here. So, PEI is home to world-famous oysters, mussels, lobster, beef, and dairy. And over the next 2 days, I'm going to be checking it all out.
Prince Edward Island, Canada's food island. You see that slogan everywhere here, but what does it really mean? Is it just a catchy line for tourists? Or something deeper about how this island eats and cooks and lives? Well, I'm here to find out. I landed in Charlottetown, late, tired, and hungry. Luckily, the other bloggers were already at Sea Rocket Oysters, which was a perfectly delicious place to start figuring out the meaning behind Canada's food island. Besides, if you're in PEI, you kinda gotta start with the oysters. It was the perfect welcome. Simple, fresh, and a hint of what was to come. After dinner, I checked into the Delta Marriott in Charlottetown. It is 10:30 p.m. and I've just checked into my hotel room. And I think I may have been upgraded because this room is large. It fits at least 5 people, and I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to do with so much space. Reem isn't with me on this trip, so it just feels like a big space for a small person all by myself. But, I'm not complaining. It's very lovely of them. I'm gonna go to bed because clearly I'm tired. Look at my eyes, they're red. And I have an early start tomorrow. And we have quite a lot to get through tomorrow. I'm not sure how we're gonna make the timetable work, but we're going to a beef plant. We are checking out oysters. We're checking out a potato farm. And the thing I'm most excited about is we're going on a mussel boat. I love being on the water in general. That's pretty cool. Let's see what it's like tomorrow. We'd be visiting farms, fisheries, and kitchens, all pieces to the puzzle of what makes PEI Canada's food island. Our first stop, the Atlantic Beef Plant. Honestly, not the most glamorous setting, but definitely an important one. PEI's beef is locally raised, mostly by multi-generational family farms. Our guide showed us each step of the process, and what struck me most was how much care there was for the cattle itself. Even here, in a setting that could easily feel cold and industrial, the well-being of the animals was a concern. Mussels. We headed out on a working mussel boat. Pretty noisy, a tad windy, but also very worth it. PEI produces about 80% of Canada's mussels, and seeing the process up close makes that number really make sense. It's hard work, and the crew does it year-round. The calm bays are fed by the Atlantic. The water isn't just scenery here. It's a part of their livelihood. Standing there, watching them haul shellfish was when it hit me. This isn't just fishing. It's farming the ocean. Lunch was at the PEI Preserve Company. A bustling restaurant surrounded by gardens and the smell of jam from their attached gift shop. It's the kind of place that feels proudly local. Part restaurant, part PEI showcase. Then came the potato farm, with a tour led by Peter from Taters, Tractors and Tails. And I'll admit, it doesn't sound exciting at first, but listening to Peter's passion for decades of tradition and for the deep red soil that PEI is known for makes it hit differently.
Back in the 1900s to like the 1950s type of thing, right? So everything's in a smaller scale. Like, they probably had 5 acres of potatoes back then, and they would be mixed farmers back then. They would have, potatoes, they have grain, hay, and all different kinds of cattle, whatever.
PEI grows about 2.5 billion pounds of potatoes every year, and Peter even pulled out a handful of fresh potatoes for us to see. As a city boy, I don't usually find myself on a farm, but I have to admit, there's something satisfying about seeing the beginning of things. Unrelated, I also got to sit in a tractor. If there's one thing PEI is famous for, it's oysters. And Anne of Green Gables. Okay, fine. But I'm here for the oysters. And James from Raspberry Point Oysters explained that it takes about 3 years for oysters to mature.
They can actually switch sexes. So the oysters, if there's a population and there's more females than males, some of them can switch teams, balance the teams out. So that works pretty good for the oysters. They make sure that, one season they can be male, the next season they can be female.
Every bay on the island gives them a slightly different taste. Each brand, whether it's a Malpac, Irish Point, or Fiona's Fury, reflects where it's grown. Kind of like wine, but colder. And saltier. Then I got a chance to try my hand at shucking. Steel glove on, shucking knife at the ready. It took a minute, but no injuries. Thank God. And how do they taste? Well, this Irish Point oyster was great. Fresh, clean, and not overly salty or briny. And contrary to what you might think, PEI's oysters aren't about luxury. They're about connection between people, places, and the foods they create. That night, we had dinner at Sim's Corner with beef fresh from the same plant we'd toured earlier, and it was a feast. But beyond simply eating, there's also something deeply satisfying about the experience. Seeing where food came from during the day and tasting it perfectly cooked at night. I guess you could say this sort of full circle experience is what PEI is all about. Local ingredients, raised, shared, and prepared with pride. The next morning, we visited the Culinary Institute of Canada, where many of PEI's chefs get their start. It was a quiet day, but even watching students practicing the basics, flipping crepes, perfecting knife skills, it showed the care and precision that shapes the island's food culture. And in the same building, there's Canada's Smartest Kitchen, a food innovation lab where chefs and researchers work with local ingredients to test new ideas and products. What's special about PEI is that its food isn't just good, it's personal. The farmers, fishers, and chefs, they all know each other here. The island's small enough that food really does connect people. So, why is PEI called Canada's Food Island? Well, I think it's because here, food isn't just something people make. It's something they live. Every oyster, every potato, every plate connects back to someone on the island itself. There's community, there's care and craft, and that's what makes PEI's food feel so incredibly honest. Prince Edward Island might be Canada's smallest province, but it's big on flavor. If you visit, make sure to take your time. Meet the farmers, touch the soil, and don't leave without shucking at least one oyster yourself. So, that's PEI, Canada's Food Island. Great food, great people, and one city boy who somehow learned how to shuck an oyster without losing his finger. I'm Riz, and this is Travel and Chai. We tell cozy, comfortable, and sometimes slightly chaotic travel stories. If that sounds like your vibe, hit subscribe. Stick around. And hey, if you liked this video, give it a little thumbs up before you go.